across the country are shrinking and disappearing. The number of newspapers has declined significantly in the past few years, and that means people have less access to local news than ever before. And we can't take any of our news sources for granted, and that includes WNYC. This is why we need 10,000 listeners to step up for WNYC and give during this spring fundraiser. Help us survive and ultimately thrive. Give at WNYC.org, or again, that number 888-376-9692. I know it's still early. I'll repeat it. 888-376-9692.
That's 888-376-9692. And we have a challenge for you right now. New York Public Radio trustee Anna Quinlan is offering WNYC a $25,000 challenge grant. Here's what we need to communicate this morning. To earn this, we need 1,000 listeners to contribute today. It's important for you to take part so we can earn and we can meet this challenge. Your gift right now will help pay for the programming on WNYC, and you will help to get this membership drive off to a great start. So please do so now. You can do it by going on WNYC.org. There's a donate button there, or you can call 888-376-9692, 888-376-9692.
Be one of those 10,000 listeners to give during this spring membership drive. Join the 10,000 today with $10,000 if you have it, but whatever amount is comfortable for you. 888-376-9692, 888-376-9692, or online at WNYC.org. We have this $25,000 challenge on the table right now. We need 1,000 listeners to contribute by this evening to unlock this gift. Make it happen. 888-376-9692. And thank you so much.
WNYC is supported by Netscope, providing optimized access and security to help customers reduce risk, accelerate performance, and have visibility into enterprise cloud, web, and applications. More at netscope.com/NYPR. The New York Community Trust. Listeners can champion the causes they care about for generations through charitable gifts in their wills with the New York Community Trust. Learn more at thetrust.nyc.
Is $30 billion enough to make AI A-OK?
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by C3 Generative AI. C3 Generative AI enables rapid access to secure, traceable, hallucination-free insights from enterprise systems, all while using any LLM, helping enterprises turn the invisible into the obvious. Learn more at c3.ai.
I'm David Brancaccio in New York. A bipartisan group of senators today released recommendations for developing and regulating artificial intelligence. They want the federal government to spend about $30 billion over 3 years on shaping technology that could bring great bounty, but could also cause great harm. Marketplace's Nova Safo is here with more.
Yeah, these group of senators includes Democratic Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. They say China is outpacing the U.S. in responding to developments in artificial intelligence technologies, and the U.S. must speed up its response. They also want to catch up to the European Union, which earlier this year, as we know, enacted sweeping new AI safeguards, especially for use in arenas such as medicine, infrastructure, and policing. So the recommendations from the senators, it's a 33-page report, David, with broad brush strokes. They include things like new AI testing standards to figure out potential harms from these tools, and those harms would include lost jobs.
And we could see action on some of these recommendations as early as today?
That's right. The issues here are not exactly secret. Senators have been meeting publicly and privately with tech executives and experts for a year. They include Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Sundar Pichai, and so there are already some bills drafted. The Senate Rules Committee today plans to vote on 3, which lawmakers consider most urgent because, no surprise, they have to do with elections. Things like making sure there are disclaimers when AI is used in political ads. So those initial votes, David, are coming later this morning.
All right, Nova, thank you very much. The Consumer Price Index comes out later this morning. It's designed to measure inflation, but ignores something important that could make things more expensive for all of us. The CPI doesn't account for the cost of borrowing money, which, as you know, has been going up. Marketplace's Nancy Marshall-Genzer has more.
Unemployment is low. Inflation has been slowly starting to cool. So why are consumers feeling blue?
How people feel depends upon monthly payments that they are making, not statistical concepts of economists.
That's Lawrence Summers, Harvard economist and former Treasury Secretary. He recently co-authored a paper that concludes consumers count the cost of borrowing money when they think about how they're doing economically, while economists do not. Take the CPI. It tracks the price of a basket of goods and services, but not the cost of taking out loans or using credit cards to buy all that stuff. For example, Summers says right now the CPI includes the price of a car in its basket, but
since most people don't buy their cars outright for cash, it's useful to pay attention to the lease concept and the borrowing concept.
in other words, the cost of leasing a car or getting a loan to buy it. But while Summers says economists should pay more attention to consumers' monthly payments, he doesn't think borrowing costs should actually be added to the basket of prices the CPI tracks.
You get perversities if you make it literally a part of the CPI.
Because if the CPI includes borrowing costs, it'll rise every time the Federal Reserve hikes interest rates. In effect, the Fed would be creating inflation, says economist Krishna Guha, vice chair of Evercore ISI.
When you raise interest rates, you push up the cost of mortgage borrowing, and it pushes mechanically up the inflation rate.
And Guha says that's true for all kinds of borrowing, even though the purpose of Fed rate hikes is to push inflation down. And including the cost of money in the CPI would give Fed Chair Jerome Powell a big communication headache, says Ann Owen. She teaches economics at Hamilton College and is a former Fed economist.
It would definitely cause complications for explaining monetary policy, and that's not trivial.
Owen says borrowing costs were part of the CPI at one point, but they were gradually removed, starting in the early 1980s, to avoid this kind of confusion. I'm Nancy Marshall-Genzer for Marketplace.
Markets Dow and S&P futures are up just slightly ahead of the release of that big inflation report. We also get the official number for retail sales later this morning. Russian President Vladimir Putin is due in China's capital tomorrow. He's likely to push for more support from China's President Xi Jinping to help Russia's economy amid international sanctions, given Russia's war on Ukraine. Perhaps China might buy more discounted Russian oil or gas or sell more machines and chemicals to Russia. Reuters quotes a Russian official saying, China is Russia's strategic partner. This is the path chosen by the president of Russia and the leader of China, and nothing is going to change that, no matter what the West tries to say and do.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by UKG. UKG is a partner that delivers HR, pay, time, and culture solutions designed to help build a great workplace for everyone. UKG, our purpose is people. And by Twilio Segment. Segment helps every team access good data that's real-time, clean, and accurate. The result is relevant customer experiences that drive real revenue. Segment.com.
I'm LaFontaine Oliver, President